Om. Om. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Vande Guru-paramparam. We are in Kathopanishad, part 2, chapter 1, or chapter 2, part 1, something like that, whichever way we look at it. And here we saw, where is it? The first verse. Paranchikhani vyathrunat swayambhuh tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman kaschidhira pratyagatmanamaikshat avrutaschakshuramrutattvamichan. That self-existing Paramatma, he, by his own free will, understand this, by his own free will, made the senses. Which are the senses? The five senses and the mind. And he made them extroverted. And in this way he has punished them. In this way he has inflicted the senses that may you be extroverted. And because of this reason, all the individuals, all the jivas, jiva is a principle. Jiva means that consciousness which is expressing through one individual body is called jiva. This is the principle. When this jiva gets identified with one body, then it is the problem that begins. So either we take jiva as the principle, then it is okay. And instead of blaming yourself, why I am only extroverted, why am I not introverted, take it in this way, as this verse is saying, that it is by the will of the divine. That is how it is. He has made the senses to be that way. You don't say why the eyes are seeing and the ears are not seeing. You don't say why the nose is breathing and why not my tongue is breathing. You don't say those. You don't have those questions in your mind. Exactly the same way. Why the senses are extroverted? They are like that. So story over. And this individual, he with these senses, he sees the world outside and is unavailable to the inner self that he is. And kaschid dhira pratyagatmanamaikshat avrita chakshuhu amrutatvamichan. And he who is desiring, and or those who are desiring the immortality, and desiring that immortality, focusing on immortality, being the immortality, or putting efforts towards the that high goal, that is the self, and they have controlled the senses. Such are very rare wise people, and as a result of this, very few people you will find who are who have had direct experience of the self in that sense. They see as pratyagatma, pratyagatma, immediate self. They are able to see the image, be the immediate self. Or here it is written, Avruta chakshu amrutatvam icchan pratyag atmanam aikshata. Aikshata means to see. It is the language of communication, that they are able to see. Very few people are there who are able to see. We have already covered this verse. I am not going to go into detail. And then the second verse said, and what is the difference between discrimination and non-discrimination? Paracha kamana nuyanti balaha te mrityoryanti vidatasya pasham atha dhira amrutatvam viditva dhruvam udhruveshvihana prarthaya te. Here in the second verse it was told that that person who is not very intelligent, and what he does, what is his disposition, such unintelligent people, such ignorant people, such with manda buddhi, alpagya, here the word used is those who are running. Where are we? One moment. Oh. One moment, I got my page is lost. Yeah. This alpagya purusha, the unintelligent person, he runs after the extroverted objects, and as a result they fall into the trap of death, which has spread this trap everywhere around us, and that trap is extrovertedness. And in this way, but then it says, but the second part of the verse says, but that discriminative. So who is this fellow? He is the undiscriminative one. Who is the discriminative one? But the discriminative person, he is recognizing that this immortality is a constant principle. It is the unchanging principle. It is the you cannot remove it. It has never gone out of existence. Knowing the immortality to be such, he does not desire the non-eternal objects of the world, objects of this world. This is the disposition of intelligent people. So unintelligent people, they run after the objects of the world. Intelligent people, why they don't run after the world? Because their attention is on the constant principle, the unchanging principle, and they remain fixated on that as the self, as the I. And therefore, they do not have a disposition or an urge or liking for the finite objects of the world or the non-eternal objects of the world. This verse also we have seen. Have we seen this? I can't remember, and I can't hear you also. I'll look at your face and then I'll make out what we can. Usha, we have not done the Shankar Bhashya. We have not done it. Okay. Thank you. Now I can start. Okay. पराचो बहिर्गतान एव कामान काम्यान विषयान अनुयन्ति अनुगच्छन्ति बाला अल्प प्रज्ञाः ते तेन कारणेन मृत्योः अविद्या काम कर्म समुदायस्य यान्ति गच्छन्ति विततस्य विस्तीर्णस्य सर्वतः व्याप्तस्य पाशं पाश्यते बध्यते येन तम पाशम देहेन्द्रियादि संयोग वियोग लक्षणम. अरे बाबा, such a long sentence. See? So here it is said, the unintelligent, the one with little bit grey matter here, not less matter between the 2 ears, such a person, he is desiring the objects which are outside, and he keeps running after them and eventually gets lost in them. And this is the reason, and in this way they get caught up in desire, and desire leads to action, which is karma. So remember, what is the sequence? Ignorance leads to desire, desire leads to action. Ignorance about what? Ignorance about the self. What does it lead to for unintelligent people? It leads to, instead of desiring the self, they are desiring the world. When they desire the world, what happens? Then they sweat, they work, they do lot of activity or action that I want this, I want to achieve this, I want to gain that, I want to forget this, I want to remember that, and this way they get lost into karma. And this karma, because they get lost in the karma, they get lost in the desires, and which is the result of being not focusing on their essential self, it leads to death. And where is this death? Death is here, it is not told that the death is an event which happens at the end of life. Here it is told you are surrounded by death. Everything. And one moment eyes are seeing something, next moment your attention is on the ear hearing something, next moment your attention is on the nose smelling something. So sight has become dead for you, then the sound has become alive for you, then the sound has become dead for you, then the smell has become alive for you. If your attention is going from one object to the next, from sofa to the laptop to the camera to the cushion to the picture, the sofa became dead to you, then the laptop became alive, then laptop became dead, then the camera became alive, then the camera became dead, then the cushion became alive. And this way, this is only at the outside world. We said mind is the sixth sense. Even in the mind, one thought takes birth, stays for some time, and then dies away. And so we are surrounded, if you want to use the word surrounded here as it is used everywhere, we are entangled in death alone, living in this world And what is the common denominator in this world for the sansar? Mrityu, death. Vitatasya vistirnasya sarvato vyaptasya pasham pashyate badhyate. So sarvata, everywhere, vyaptasya, spread everywhere, pasham, entanglement, hook, pashyate, and this way they themselves allow the individual himself allows to be thinking about the world. He gets caught up in death, and therefore here he says, it is said, as a result the individual gets caught up. Pashit, pash is the hook, pashit is being caught, is being entangled, and as he gets tied down by the objects of the world. And objects of the world doesn't stop, it begins with the body. I go to so many houses, here also I am here in Newcastle, the only talk is my children, my grandchildren, my house, my business, my this, my that. See? And in this manner, there is no, the topic is never about the self. The topic is always about whatever the self is referring itself to. The children, the wife, the husband, the dog, etc., etc. And they don't realize it. We, whatever word you want to use, we don't realize it. We get caught up thinking about that, about the world. We get caught up in the world. We get hooked into the world. And what is this? What is this getting caught up in the world? Sometimes we are thinking about, sometimes we are at the level of one sense, one particular sense organ, then we are attached with one sense, then we detach from that sense, get attached to another sense, then we get detached from another sense, then get attached to the next sense, and this way it is continuously going on, and as a result we are totally hooked to this world, which is nothing but death. That is why it is called as death. Therefore here it is said, Yena tam pasham dehendriyadi sanyoga viyoga lakshanam. And what is the lakshana? What is the nature of the dehendriyas? Means the five senses and the mind. Involvement and withdrawal. Involvement. So dehendriya sanyoga viyoga lakshanam means the eyes, they get involved in seeing something, then they withdraw from seeing something. Then the ears get involved in hearing something, then the ears withdraw from that. Then the tongue gets involved in tasting something, then the tongue withdraws from that. Because at any given moment only one thing can work. Everything cannot happen at the same time. So, yena tam pasham. So what is this pasham? That we get caught up in involvement of one sense and get withdrawal from that sense, then into the next one. Anavarata janma marana jara rogadyaneka pratipadyanta iti arthaha. And then it is said that what does it mean? It means continuously we are caught up in birth and death, old age and disease and old age, and we get caught up in many unwanted things. What is unwanted things? Oh my God, it's raining today. What if my flight is delayed tomorrow? Unwanted thing. Has it happened? No. Then why are you imagining like this? Unwanted. I think this person, they are talking about me in the other room. Your imagination, your projection about someone who are talking about maybe their own problem, but you are thinking they are talking about me. And in this way, the individual gets caught up into meaningless chatter in the mind, meaningless involvement of the senses into the world, meaningless opinions, meaningless judgments, meaningless whatever. And as a result, what is the result? Continuous birth and death. Born to new opinion, then death of that opinion, then again, and gets old and dies eventually. Yata, where are we? Yata eva matha tasma dhira vivekinah pratyagaatma swarupavat sthana lakshanam amrutatvam dhruvam viditva ध्रुवं वृदित्वा देवादि अमृतत्वं हि अध्रुवम् इदं तु प्रत्यगात्म स्वरूपावस्थान लक्षणं न कर्मणा वर्धते नो कनीयान् बृहदारण्यके उपनिषद इति ध्रुवम्. Because it is like this, therefore dhira tasma dhira vivekana. Who is this dhira purush? Who is this wise person? This wise person is vivekinaha. Vivekina means the discriminative person. Who is a discriminative person? Discriminative person is he who is ever alert about what is constant and changing, what is real and unreal, what is consciousness and unconsciousness, what is permanent and impermanent. Such is a viveki or discriminative person, and such a discriminative person pratyag atma swarupava sthana lakshana amrutatvam dhruvam viditva. What is he? Where is his focus? First he discriminates between the real and the unreal, then he puts his attention on the real, not on the unreal. What is unreal? We have already told in the previous paragraph. That which is changing, where the senses are involved, that is unreal. Wherever senses are involved has to be necessarily unreal. You mean to say thoughts are also unreal? Yes. Thoughts are also. So we are listening to you, we are reading the Upanishad. Is this unreal? Yes, if you have the courage to take it. Because words are changing. What you are hearing is coming and going. Your attention should be what is that because of which, or in the presence of which, the sound is coming and sound is going. Sound is coming, sound is going. The words are coming from my mouth, they are reaching your ears through whatever means. But they are not continuous. They seem to be continuous, but actually, but is one word which started, stayed and concluded. Actually, it started, stayed and concluded. And this way, every word has a beginning and an end. Are you feeling you have a beginning and an end? Or do you feel you are the continuous one who is illuminating the words which are coming and going, the thoughts which are coming and going? Our attention must be on that presence. Such a person is a viveki person, meaning a discriminative person. So, such a person puts his attention not as a concept, not as an idea, oh yeah, the self is non-changing. No, right here and now. The discriminative person puts the attention on the constant principle, the unchanging principle, the illuminating principle in whose presence all data is coming and going. His focus is not on the data. His attention is on being the constant principle. And he recognizes that this constant me, this continuous I, this immaculate I, which is untouched by the changing, itself is of the nature of purity. It is itself the unshakable one. It itself is the immortal one. In that manner, and knowing this, then he says, what? Devadi amrutatvam hi adhruvamidam tu. That even the gods, etc. There are, see, Bhur Bhuva Swa Tapa Jana Maha Satyam. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh also is taken as Devata only here. So sun god, moon god, all the planet gods, and Indra and Ashwini Kumar and etc. So many names you can keep taking. Anila, Vayu Devata, Varuna Devata, etc. etc. What are they? They are adhruvam. They are shakeable. They are not permanent. They appear to be constant. They appear to be continuous from individual standpoint. When we consider ourselves as a person, as a man, as a woman, as an individual, then from our point of view, if we think, oh, we have to go to heaven, why? Everything is, the time scale is much longer there. But the wise people, they take the self to be the constant principle, and from that point they come to realize, or they recognize, that even the gods are temporary. And this, and how do they know it? They know it directly, they perceive it directly as the I, as the self. Not the self that, oh, I am the body. No, not this I, not this I. Oh, I am the senses, not this I. Oh, I am the mind, not this I. I am the intellect, not this I. I am the thought I, not this I also. I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper I, not this I also. That I which is untouched by anything, which is ever and ever and ever. And by doing actions in the world, it does not gain anything, it does not increase in size. And if you don't do anything, if you feel guilty about something in life, it does not reduce. So, are you someone who becomes more when you wake up and you become less when you go to sleep, or vice versa? Or are you the constant one? This we have to contemplate on. Devadi amrutatvam hi adhruvamidam tu pratyak atma swarupavasthan alakshanam. Vasthana lakshanam na karmana vardate no kaniyan na karmana vardate. This spirit, this self, this supreme self that we are, is neither increases by karma nor decreases by karma, is not affected by karma and not affected. Nothing happens to it. So, I am going to do pranayam and then I am going to realize the self. Forget it. Pranayam cannot take you to self. I am going to do so many years of tapasya. I am going to do million japa, and then I'll. What do we do japa for? Darshan of Bhagwan. We do japa for darshan of Bhagwan. Is that darshan of Bhagwan equal to self? Find out. Or after the giving the darshan, the Bhagwan vanishes. Huh? So when we come to this conclusion, na karmana vardhate no kaniya, nah kaniyan, meaning that by karma neither it increases nor it decreases. When we take this, when we think in this manner, iti dhruvam, then thinking in this manner, you will understand that you essentially, the self, the spirit is the unshakable one. तदेव भूतं कूटस्थमेव चाल्यम अमृतत्वं विदित्वा ध्रुवेषु सर्वपदार्थेषु अनित्येषु निर्धार्य ब्रह्मणा इह संसारे अनर्थपराये न प्रार्थयन्ते किंचिदपि प्रत्यगात्म दर्शन प्रतिकूलत्वात्. So here he says, what? So, tadeva bhutam kutastham avichalyam amritatvam. So, having reached or having recognized that constant principle, that immortality, to be the substratum on which all the changes are happening, or avichalyam. Avichalyam means that it is not moving anywhere. Waker, dreamer and sleeper are moving. The husband, the son, the brother, the father, the roles are moving. But is the spirit moving? Is the self moving? Recognize yourself as the unmoving principle, avichalyam. Knowing it to be such, viditva dhruveshu sarva padartheshu vanityeshu anityeshu. So the Brahmanas, they recognize the self to be the unmoving one, the substratum, the immortal one, and knowing it to be so, nirdharya anityeshu sarva padartheshu anityeshu. They discard. What is that? They discard, the Brahmanas, they discard all the objects of the world, thinking that they are unworthy to be pursued, that they are non-eternal, and that they are changing, and therefore they do not desire them even an iota, because they are all against the direct experience of the self. Na prarthayante. What do we pray to the God? Iha sansare anartha praye na prarthayante. Our job is, we go to the temple, we go to the church, we go to the masjid, we go to the gurdwara, and all we are praying is, let my child get married, let me become a grandfather, let me reach safely from point A to point B. Syavar Ramachandra ki jai, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai, and this way we keep going on. Why? We are afraid that we might not get it. Get what? Something from this world. But is the self something that you can ever lose? Can you lose yourself ever in your life? So here it is said that such a wise person, such a intelligent person, na prarthayante kinchidapi, even for an iota of a moment, he never desires the changing objects of the world, and instead, because they know that desiring objects of the world is going against their own essential self. Putra vitta lokayashanabhyo vyuttishthantye veta iti arthaha. And putravat lokeshana, so putreshna vitteshna lokeshana bhyaha. So here are the three desires. What are the three desires of the world in which we get entangled and get caught up and then are unable to come out of it? It is putreshna, the desire for a child. Only when I have a child, I will be fulfilled. Vitteshna, desire for wealth. Only when I have so much wealth, then I will be satisfied. Then I will be happy. That day never comes. And lokeshana, when you have a lot of wealth, then you want name and fame also. People should know that I gave that donation. People should know that I am living, that I have got enough money, so I will drive Mercedes or most expensive car. And if I am having all this vitteshna and lokeshna, oh, for whom am I doing it? Why am I having all this wealth, and why I don't want it for myself? I want to, like today's parents do. I am doing all this to pass it on to our children. In the they take the children as the excuse and for all their shortcomings in life. That Mary, I don't have any desire, but I am doing all this. It is all going to go to our children only. Do you ever say that I am taking the name of the Lord, that will go to the children only? Build houses, have investments, start businesses. For whom? They have come into this world. Let them struggle, let them produce, let them become successful. Have they come into this world because they want a handout from you? Think. Is that why they have come into this world? Or have they come into this world to express the glory of the consciousness that they are, to be more than they can ever imagine? And when we say, when we have produced everything, oh, it is only for you, it is only for you, it is only for you, keep telling them again and again, and they run away from you. Just like we see few cases, billionaires, one in Thailand, one of Hinduja brothers, and the son 18-year-old in one place and another one 21 years old. After the studies, one after 12, one after graduation, he said, Dad, you keep the money with you, all the billions of dollars. One became a bhikshuk, joined the Buddhist monastery, and the other one joined ISKCON, chanting Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. If they don't want it, what are you going to do? But all life, I am doing it. I have to produce, I have to increase, I have to increase the portfolio, I have to start the business. It is your itch. Don't put it on the children that I am doing it for them. Wise person has the itch to be the self. Unwise person has the itch, vitteshna, to produce wealth, lokeshna, to be famous and to be recognized everywhere, and he does both things for the child. And in this manner, the wise person remains far away from these three desires of running after wealth, running after name and fame, and running after and putreshna just doesn't mean producing a child from yourself, you being the father and mother. In ashrams also, with putreshna is there. Oh man, I have to find the successor for this ashram, and they go looking around for successors. Why? This whole thing is created, it has to be handed over to someone. So that is also putreshna. And this way, but there is no point giving it to the government. From the self point of view, only self is where you are getting caught up in all this. Yad Vijnanan na kinchid anyat prarthayante brahmanaha katham tad adhigama iti uchyate. The Brahmanas, the educated ones, the intelligent one, when they get the knowledge of the self, or by gaining that knowledge of that unchanging principle, that immortal principle, they do not desire anything else in this world. What is that? What is that both? What is that knowing? What is that immortal knowing, the self which they have come to know? And how does it come about? With regards to this, it is told in one verse. If you can catch it, it's all over. How this Atma, this true I, the real I that I am, how it is all-knowing principle. Yena rupam rasam gandham, yena rupam rasam gandham, shabdan sparshanscha maithunan, shabdan sparshanscha maithunan, etenaiva vijanati, etenaiva vijanati, kimatra parishishyate, किमत्र परिशिष्यते एतद्वै तत् टुगेदर येन रूपं रसं गन्धं शब्दान् स्पर्शांश्च मैथुनान् एतेनैव विजानाति किमत्र परिशिष्यते एतद्वै तत्. That Atma, the individual, that Atma because of which individual is able to what? Through form, through taste, through smell, through sound, through touch, through involvement, through attachment, is able to experience the joys, temporary joys, no doubt, is able to conclusively come to this, because that's what we say. I have eaten the food. Oh, that was wonderful parantha. I enjoyed. Who? What is that? The stomach doesn't know food. The mouth doesn't know food. The hand doesn't know food. The eye doesn't know food. The tongue doesn't know food. Then who is this? See? It is that. No, it is me. No, don't take it to be me. Take it to be the Atma. It is that Atma which is functioning behind the form, the taste, the smell, the sound, the touch, and behind the co-joining. The tongue is joining with the food. The eyes are joining with the name and the color and form. The ears are joining with the sound. The skin is joining with the touch. And this joining is called here as Maithunan. Joining, union. Etenaiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate. And how does he know it? He knows it conclusively. We don't say, I know that I am talking. You know that you are listening. I am enjoying contemplating on this topic. You are enjoying listening to this topic. Conclusively you are saying that. And if you say, no, I didn't understand, that also conclusively you are saying that I did not understand it completely. But what is it because of? Is it because of the eyes that you are able to see? Is it because of the thought that you are able to understand? Or is it because of that spirit, that self, that conscious principle which is functioning behind all the five senses and the mind, that this experience took place. Etenaiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate. And therefore it is told, and while we are involved in this here like a question, it is told that that this Atma that we essentially are, which is functioning continuously without any loss or gain behind all the five senses and the mind, we are not thinking about that Atma, the self, and we are running after this world to know this world, to gain this world. Wow! Putreshna, Vitteshna, Lokeshna. And we have never put any attention on this Atma, this constant principle that that we are. And therefore, etad vaitata, whenever this word comes, etad vaitata, understand that conclusion is being told. And here the Lord of Death is telling Nachiket, oh Nachiket, the question that you asked, is there soul? Some people say that the soul continues after the death, and some people says the soul does not continue after death. I have answered your question in conclusion, that soul, the real nature of that soul, is not which goes like a light. Here, it's not written in the Upanishad. What you see in the movies is when someone dies, the soul goes and merges into the Lord. Some people saw Heda Khan Baba when he went and lived only for 17 years. Then he merged into the river Kali Ganga, and one light appeared out of the water where he had dropped his body. He walked into the river, and that light went and merged into the cosmos. This is not, all this is our imagination. We are not talking about that soul which comes and goes. Soul is not, we are talking about soul in its essence. Now think, if there is electricity behind the bulb and there is a bulb, when electricity functions through the bulb, light is created. The principle of light is created. Has the light come and gone? Or the principle of light is constant? Whether one bulb gets fused or all the bulbs get fused, or some of them, all the bulbs start emitting light, the principle of light never gets lost. Somewhere it is always on. And is the principle of light holy or unholy? Is the principle of light holy or unholy? No. Because there is a lamp, a bulb in front of the Lord in the temple, and bulb in the toilet, and the bulb in front of the Lord gets fused. And what do? अरे यार, bulb fuse हो गया, अब क्या? What should we do? You go to the toilet, take out the bulb from there and put it in front of the temple. So suddenly what? The punya, the merits of the bulb in the toilet have come to the forefront. Arey, this bulb has done lot of punya in his life now that he is getting to illuminate the Lord. Is it so? Or the bulb in front of the temple did lot of papas, therefore it got fused. It's stupidity. This life is like that light. It is a principle which is expressing behind the senses, behind this body. It is not one per person. The light is a principle. You are neither attacked. Does the principle of light get created or get destroyed? No. It is a phenomena. What? The light. It is a phenomena. What is behind the light? It is the electricity. And light cannot express without the body. So exactly the same way, this body is there. The light is the light of thinking, the light of life, which expresses as light of thinking, intellectualization, and seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting. It, it, it happens in the waking, it happens in the dream, and it does not happen in the sleep. So it does not happen in the dream. It happens in the dream. It expresses. There is a different body in the dream. There is a... उधर जाके कर लो बात. So in this manner, this principle of life is not one per person. Are you taking yourself to be the phenomena, or are you taking yourself to be the constant one? See, you can't see electricity, but you know it is there. Without that, light cannot express. You know this principle of life is expressing through this body, but is your attention on the unseen principle, which is the Atma? And that Atma is not one per person. What is one per person? The phenomena of the phenomena. Because our attention is on one bulb, so we see the light there. If we have attention on one bulb and a second bulb, there is another expression of light. But it's only a phenomena. But are you a phenomena? Or are you the constant one? The eternal one? Etadvaitata. The Lord of Death, Yamaraj, tells Nachiket that this is that Atma which is the one without a second. And it is not just your senses and your mind and your intellect and your body through which it is expressing as life. No, every person in this creation is having, behind them is the same Atma. Just like behind, there is no Australian electricity and Indian electricity and American electricity. Electricity is one. The same way, the Atma is one. Just as the space is one. Just as it is the same gold which is expressing behind all the ornaments. It is the same water which is expressing behind all the waves and oceans. It is the same Atma. Wise people recognize themselves to be such and attain immortality. So stop thinking. Stop thinking about, does the soul live after death, or soul does not live after that. You are not the soul, you are the eternal principle. In this manner, the teacher says, Etadvaitata yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshanscha maithunan etenaiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate etadvaitata. Now, there is bhashya on this. I think for today we will leave it here because few others could not join also, and I will go into detail in the bhashya in our next class. I'll get to, where are you? Is that okay? Chalta hai, 1 hour is enough anyway. 5 minutes is also enough, but we have done 1 hour. And so contemplate on what? That you are not the principle of light, you are the electricity. You are the Atman, which is illuminating as life, not only behind this body, but all the bodies. Just like mind is consciousness which is expressing as life through all the bodies in the dream. In the dream. No doubt, No doubt there. Why the doubt in the waking then? This transformation in our vision cannot come about by looking at the world, desiring the world for what? Vitteshna, desiring for wealth, Lokeshna, desiring for name and fame, and Putreshna, desiring for children. As long as these three desires are there, we are shortchanging ourselves from being what our true nature is, which is the infinite self, the Parabrahma Paramatma, which neither comes nor goes, which is neither born nor dies, which has no past nor future, which has no beginning or end. We are that. And what are we living as? It is only because of our we have made lot of investment in the objects of perception and imagination. You withdraw your energy from those investments and cash it. Energy is there with you, and you shift your attention to the constant principle that you are, as we saw in this particular verse, yena rupam. You are the one behind all of them, and there is no answer. Remember this, there is no answer. It's not, this is a laptop, I got an answer, I can touch, feel, taste, think, picture it. But how I am behind you also, how I am behind you also, how I am behind every person in this creation, past, present and future, there is no answer for it. And yet, that is the truth. Just as space is expressing through all the people that have gone or was expressing, is expressing and will be expressing. Just as I, the conscious principle, am expressing, I expressed yesterday as the waker, the dreamer and the sleeper. Today also, now I am the waker. When I go to sleep, I will be the dreamer. When I go to finish the dream, then I will be the sleeper. Tomorrow again. So I am expressing behind all the wakers, dreamer and sleepers. So this way, and how is it? How is it? No, how is it? You are it. Attention on this Atmic principle is the solution to the breakup in our personality, the disintegration that has come about in us, that we feel we are this also, that also, old also, diseased also, hungry also, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, intellectualizing, imagining. All this is breakup in our personality. How do you integrate it? Meaning it's not going to go away, but how do you find a way not to be influenced by it? It was only then when you start thinking in this way, that you are the constant. When we live at our sensory level, we are giving importance to the changing world, which can never ever satisfy us. And Atma is by nature infinite. It is ever fulfilling. All we have to do is shift our attention and be that. Not just attention and start searching, where is it, where? No, be that. You are that. Then what about Swamiji, if I be that and my husband also bees that and you also be that, there'll be too many bees. It will not be so. It will not be so. It will not be so. Every wave or every ornament, when it dives into itself, it will find the same water and the same gold. It is not different gold. Same way, when you dive into yourself in this manner and come to recognize that you are the constant one, and every one of us does that, we come to the same self. Don't you know that the electricity is the same behind all the lights, all the bulbs. Electricity is the same electricity behind all the instruments which it gives life to. Exactly the same way. What is difficult? Have you ever seen electricity? No. Is it not the same mind behind all the thoughts? Any difficulty in thinking that way? Is it not the same mind behind all the five senses? Is it not the same eye which is illuminating all the colors and forms? Is it not the same nose which is illuminating all the smells? Is it not the same ear which is illuminating all the sounds? Where is the problem? Problem is, don't go outside seeking answers and fulfillment. Come to yourself, the Atman. And that's it. And don't seek a conclusion, because there's no name, form, sound there. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Thus, Atma is that where the words cannot reach and the mind cannot imagine. And yet, it is your direct experience that you are. But are you the virtual self? Are you the illusory self? Or are you the absolute self? This you determine. Each one of us has to determine that. And next moment after this lecture is over, satsang is over, you will put on the TV and watch some God movie or some serial. Someone will die and he passed away, or some news. Again you will complain, feel sad, or get excited by someone's birth, or feel sad because of someone's death. Drama karna chahiye. You must do the drama of being excited and feeling sad. But you should not become emotional about it. Your attention should be on the Atmic self. More about this in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om. Next week, don't use this meeting ID and password, our original one. Tomorrow also, I will be back in Melbourne. It will be our normal meeting ID and password, 902136, something like that. Huh? Okay. Hari Om. Take care. And next weekend, next to next weekend is the retreat. Hari Om, Hari Om. I can't hear you all. I can only talk.